Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another emergency podcast episode. Well, it's not quite an emergency, is it? Because we left it 12 hours because we were like, well, should we do it straight away this morning? I mean, we love leaks, and then we were like, well, it's probably best to see what GW does.
We needed to wait for the Istvanian fallout, the radioactive fallout, and see
That's
what was
exactly it.
going on.
So it's a
And I'm
big,
glad we did. I'm
it's a
glad we
big,
did.
yeah, it's a big moment, isn't it? It's a massive moment for the journey of Horus Heresy, because we got some leaks, not the delicious edible kind, but in fact the even tastier photo kind. So just to give you a bit of backstory. This morning I woke up at 5 o'clock to go for my old man wee, only to find that my phone was ablaze with about 250 messages from people, international members of the WhatsApp Heresy Hammer WhatsApp community chat. Um, to then discuss. So I was like, something's happened here.
You're like,
Something
hold the
must have
phone.
happened.
Literally, hold my phone.
Yeah, I mean, usually there's lots of things going off on those groups, but yeah, when I wake up in the morning, it's about 90 messages, not 250. And what had happened was that we had got some leaked images of the Saturnine box. So if we go to the next slide, we shall show you. Now, I'm sure that you guys have seen already um, what we're about to show you, but we're going to discuss it in more detail. But just to give you guys a little bit of a timeline of what I think happened, although it's a little bit difficult because things happened kind of
Things are very
speaking to
fluid.
people. Things were fluid. Yeah, things are fluid. I can't quite work out what the order was in terms of what happened. So the main thing is that we got these release pictures on a Facebook marketplace. Somebody trying to sell uh, two Saturnine boxes. You can see two Saturnine boxes, which look really dodgy. Like they are the definition of falling off the back of a van, which is if you don't live in the UK, it basically means that they look like they were being nicked. Clearly, some sort of car, some sort of van filled with boxes. Don't know whether they're Saturnine boxes filled with shoes. And then we've got two Saturnine Age of Darkness Saturnine boxes. And just a quick note, yeah, these look totally legit, right? They do not look like AI. These look, completely legit. But also within the melange of messages that were received on that WhatsApp group and on Facebook, on Instagram, we like buried within all those messages. Somebody had also posted their email that they had received from the Warhammer community, which was saying that the preview scheduled uh, for Dallas, which was going to be on Thursday, had been cancelled, and it was basically being replaced by a gaming event, a Throne of Skulls or whatever. I don't know what it would be, but basically, it's being replaced by movie night, open gaming, food, shopping, drinks, and more. Okay, whatever. So um, so all that happened in the space of a couple of hours. Now, which way round, I don't
Let me
know.
check for a second. Because
Hmm.
was not the first thing of the day that very early in the morning GMT, there was an article posted on the Warhammer community with a countdown of
Yes.
there is a transmission. There was a bit of blurb and fluff and text with a transmission with a
Yes.
399 hours countdown, kind of counter
Hmm.
down, that would have brought the finish of that countdown broadly in line with the preview that was
Yes.
expected from the Dallas
So,
Open.
so I wonder whether that was scheduled at midnight because then that countdown then begins,
Mhm.
and then these events then happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fascinating. It's genuine. It is tin foil hat time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
skies.
I
The earth is
massive. I
flat.
do feel just before we look at the boxes though. I mean, I'd be interested to get your guys' thoughts, but I do feel. I mean, I think Lee will probably be less forgiving than I am, but I do feel quite sorry for the team. Not only did they have to probably wake up early in the morning to go to work to deal with this, but also they had clearly had a marketing social media campaign in place that
Mm.
was just like obliterated
Yeah,
in seconds. And
yeah,
the preview gone, like the Horus Heresy Hearsay website, just like completely null and void. Although
yeah.
we will talk at the end about how they managed that today. But at this point, I was thinking, man, it is not a good day to be a GW employee who works on the social media team.
Discussed on the previous emergency podcast about how we felt like Games Workshop were trying to get in front of the narrative and wrench the control of
Mhm.
the narrative back into their own hands. And then all of a sudden, that narrative was just snatched away from them.
Yeah, like a seesaw, wasn't it? Yeah, just going
Yeah.
backwards and forwards. Yeah. So Lee,
Um,
what's your thoughts? Because you made a perceptive comment today, which was that,
did I?
Last
well,
time president.
I
Fucking hell.
thought so, which was
Go on.
basically that it had their trolling of the community had basically backfired massively.
Well, the thing is, right? The thing is, how long ago did someone put a message up on our WhatsApp group saying they'd seen basically this picture? Like a
Months,
month
weeks and
ago?
months ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Month, 2 months ago? Now there's what, 500 people on that chat group, on that one specific general banter group.
north of 500 now, actually.
Yeah, so 500 people were aware that someone has potentially seen this picture. So if you were Games Workshop, I immediately thought to myself, at some point we're going to see this picture. Like we might not see it in the next week, we might not see it in the next couple of weeks, but at some point this picture is quite obviously going to surface because this is what people do on the internet. So if GW didn't realize that people had hold of this picture, like how like your finger has missed the pulse by a country mile.
Well, they need
You
to
know what
join
I
the
mean?
Heresy Hammer WhatsApp group.
This is
That's
it.
what
Like,
they need to do.
Precisely.
get with it. So it was obvious that this picture was going to surface, and they just haven't really thought that it was going to surface. I think they just stuck their head in the sand and thought, "Oh, fuck it, they won't. No one will actually post that picture." And here we are. And the irony being that they were trolling the community, and some people found it funny. Some people didn't. I initially found it kind of amusing and then rapidly just lost interest and was like, I'm just show me the goods or don't show me. I don't care. And, however you feel about it, some people have been loving it. Some people have like on the verge of burning their armies like the old world, like the end times. But I just didn't care. I was just like, I don't care. Like, this is cool, whatever. And then by day two, I was like, I'm bored. And then here we are. The whole thing has been blown out the water. And I kind of just laughed at it because I was like, well, I don't know.
It was it was inevitable.
Yeah, surely. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how you didn't think this was going to happen.
The troller has become the trolley.
Yeah, and this is it. The irony just it fills me with joy, to be honest.
Well,
And do I feel
well,
sorry for them? Yeah, a little bit, but
well,
like,
we shall
come on.
see what they did to wrestle back control a
No,
little bit later
Rob,
in that tug of war.
Yeah,
Attempt to wrestle back.
Attempt to.
yeah.
Okay, attempt to.
Now, I
Anyway,
will say at this
oh yeah,
point, if they have created this image and this is bullshit, then I doff my cap because that will be if they show the final like third edition and it's completely different, I'll be like, that is fucking amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's unlikely, but
do
yeah.
not believe they have the Alpha Legion level of
Yeah, Heather made a
subterfuge.
really good point this morning because I basically at 5 o'clock in the morning I woke her up to be like, "Look, this what happened." She's like, "Oh, I don't care.
I bet you're
Your
a joy
life is
to
Horus
live with.
Heresy."
Every time, by the way, just lay behind the curtain, every time anything heresy happens, for those of you who are long-time watchers of The Simpsons, it's reminiscent of when Homer sees the trampoline for sale. And just Rob going, trampoline, trampoline.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Anyway, Heather just said the only way that they will ever defeat this is by creating multiple versions
Yeah,
of the box
yeah,
through
yeah,
AI
yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
and then basically when a leak happens, and then just blitzing it with like loads of fakes, and then
Yeah.
nobody's quite sure what's real and what's not. And I think that's probably the only way that they're going to
Which
be able to do
they've
it.
kind of mildly, in a very piss weak form, attempted, haven't they, with
Yeah,
their
yeah.
little hearsay? But yeah, it's just been blown out of the water, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's the actual process to how we got here was confusing and convoluted and happened while we were asleep. So I guess maybe if you guys know at home what the exact order of operations was to lead to these events,
Oh,
then
yeah.
let us know.
Wanna see it
But
online.
what I don't know is whether this listing is still up on Facebook Marketplace, how much the bidding war is going for.
If it ever was.
If there ever was, right? Yeah. So because I know this appeared on Reddit as well, but I don't know if it appeared on Facebook first or on Reddit. Okay, well, let's go to the next slide because that's going to take us through what's on the back of this box. So, John, why don't you walk us through what's on the back of this box in terms of models, and then
Oh,
we'll talk. We'll see if we can like unravel the mystery of the. And can I just say, in this day and age, with the level of technology we have, how are
right.
people still taking like blurry images? Like, like I have a camera that's literally like an 8K camera. Like, how can people like on my phone? Like, how can people do like fuck this up so much? Anyway, John, talk us through the models, and then we'll see if we can decipher the writing.
Okay, so this includes 50 of your finest Citadel miniatures. They are comprised of the following: a Saturnine Praetor, who is second from the left at the bottom, as we see there.
He is huge.
He is an interesting guy, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll take us through the list, and then we'll give our
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings about each one.
Six Saturnine Terminators, a Saturnine Dreadnought. Now, shout out to one of the people who claims to have seen this box several months in advance on the Heresy WhatsApp community, because there was a rudimentary paint drawing that appeared that actually bears quite a striking resemblance to this particular miniature. So, absolutely top tier work from that particular person. Won't be named out loud. There's what I believe is described as a Centurion in Mark II power armor, so just a kind of standard generic Centurion. Love that. I must, as I said earlier, the thing that I'm most excited for as a true son of Perturabo is that the Iron Fourth are potentially going to be one of the poster boys for this edition of Horus Heresy going
It's
forwards.
big, right? Really
I'm
big.
I'm really excited for that. We've got 30 tactical marines in, was it 40?
40.
40.
40 tactical marines in Mark II armor. Let's not beat around the bush. The best armor.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's
I
great.
know. And then we've also got some sort of accelerator cannon emplacement turrety doodad.
Yeah, and then just two sets of disintegrator weapons as well.
Yeah. It's jolly exciting, isn't it?
Well, it is exciting. Okay, well, Lee, why don't you take us through when you saw it this morning? Why don't you take us through your thoughts on the models, and then perhaps now you've had time to reflect 12 hours later, what are your thoughts on the models now you've reflected on them?
So my initial thoughts on seeing the models were, oh, these look hot garbage.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was the same thing.
I wasn't that keen on them, no. Um, I mean, it was 5:30 in the morning. I had very blurry eyes, and I had to kick my wife because she was snoring.
I
But
kicked Heather
yeah.
about because I was like, look at this box set that's just been released.
I think if I'd done that to Izzy, she'd have probably hit me.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, no, I wasn't overly taken back, to be totally honest.
Okay. And how about now you've had time, a little bit of time to reflect on it?
To be honest, I'm kind of meh. Like
Okay.
I don't hate them. I don't love them.
Okay.
There are things that I definitely don't particularly like.
Hmm.
But I always say, like, don't judge a model until you've seen it in the flesh.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing I will say. I have, like, I mean, this is a potato cam picture of a box at a, 30-degree angle. Like,
Yeah.
until you actually see the miniatures in the flesh, I will withhold my final judgment. But yeah, my initial impressions were I just think I don't like the tubing bits on the shoulder pads. It just seems too top heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Any thoughts on the size of the Saturnine Dread and the
no, that's
Saturnine
kind of
Terminators?
pretty much what I thought, to be honest. Like they're meant to be. I figured they'd be somewhere between like a Terminator and a Dreadnought,
Dreadnought. Yeah.
and there they are,
Okay,
somewhere
cool.
between a Terminator and a
There's
Dreadnought.
literally that. Okay, well, John, give us your initial thoughts, and then give us because you've slightly your thoughts have slightly altered as the day has gone on.
I think so. I think, like Lee, my initial thoughts were, "Oh, these are trash." So no, I'm going to be able to say like you're always going to win me around with Mark II. The thing that made me fall in love with the Iron Warriors is the iconic image of the Iron Havoc in Mark II with the kind of underslung awesome
Yes.
big
Yeah.
belt wrapped around him, and it's just to me that is peak Horus Heresy, and the fact that I can have those guys now in this scale, oh man, I'm done. Like you've won me over. I've never, ever, ever got like got the Saturnine thing. Like I don't like the aesthetic. It's not for me, but at the same time, I can be. I'm not going to go out and say personally they're not for me, but I'm really glad that they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, this is making obviously assumptions they do exist. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but if we are safe to assume that this is the box, I am really, really, really glad that these things exist for the people that want them. I might paint them. They might sit around on sprue for 18 months. Like I just don't know right now. But the Mark II, oh mama, I've already got some assault cannons prepped.
Oh,
Sorry,
excellent.
assault cannons, sorry, auto cannons prepped.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, look, I think my initial thoughts were these are trash, and now my secondary thoughts are these are trash for me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I love them. I loved them when I saw them, and I love them even more now.
Good,
Like, and I
glad.
think they look absolutely brilliant. Like, and the first thing that struck me, the Mark II, I love. Um, but it was the Saturnine Dread and the Saturnine Terminators that like that's really what is making my juices flow. I mean I mean I cannot get over how big these Saturnine are. They must be on 50 mil bases. They're
Yeah.
absolutely monstrous. And that Praetor, I didn't think that Saturnine Terminator get bigger, and then they release it in a Praetor like version, and it's humongous. I think that's a general trend though, isn't it? Just with Games Workshop, which is their characters are just like monsters. Like, they're just absolutely
Yeah,
huge. And it's interesting to see from like if we imagine like the Blood Angel's Praetor that's holding the sword and he's walking forward. I
Mhm.
mean, he is diddly now, isn't he? He's not like
Yeah.
he is so tiny in comparison to like that Saturnine Praetor, which is interesting. And it's just a general trend.
yeah.
I think it's interesting. These are obviously all at 100% because it literally says there 100%. That Saturnine Dread has got to be on a 100 mil base.
Bobby.
So this is going to be much larger than, well, yeah, much larger than the Leviathan Dreadnought,
Yep.
which it kind of takes like, I guess takes after. It's clearly a precursor to the Leviathan. And then the other things that kind of like struck me about the Saturnine is that although the main picture there is a double plasma cannon, which isn't the most attractive,
No.
there are options for power fists. Like they are,
So
you know,
this was what I want to say. I want to
yeah, go for it.
caveat my opinion of the Saturnine Terminator by saying if I see one with a power fist and
Mm,
a kind of a almost hilariously small combi bolter with
mm.
top fed magazines, like
Yes,
the original Jez Goodwin
yes,
Exo Pattern Terminator, I think you might have me. I think
yeah.
I might be in at that point.
Okay, retro. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see if those options are in. I think exactly as Lee said, it's always difficult you need to wait and see what they look like in the hand or in the cabinets, because that was the thing, wasn't it, Lee? When we
Yeah.
went to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
open day and we saw the Kratos in the cabinets, we were like, okay, that is actually like that's
Yeah,
awesome.
to be honest, I've had it quite a few times where I've either felt meh about a model or just disliked it, and then I've seen it in the flesh. I had it recently with the plastic Krieg. I
Yeah,
didn't dislike them, but I didn't think they were as good as the resin ones.
yeah,
And then I finally saw them in the flesh at Warhammer World, and I was like, these models are fucking insane.
yeah, yeah. They're
You know,
nuts, aren't they?
so
Yeah.
like it's funny, like pictures don't always show what it actually looks like. You know, you can distort it or whatever. Just, I don't know. It's one of those weird things where when you hold it in your hand, you can be like, "This is amazing." You see a picture of it. Yeah, people have probably done it themselves when they're taking pictures of something they're painted.
Yeah,
You know, and just the angle of the picture distorts how it looks, and you're like,
yeah.
"Oh, that looks fucking weird."
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's a really
so
good point.
yeah,
And the point I always give about that one is the War Master Titan that Games Workshop released, which I thought was the most dog shit
mm,
looking thing that they had ever released.
Yeah,
And
agree.
then Richard Gray got his dirty little mitts on it.
grubby.
And then he did like I think it was Graphonicus, like it was slightly working forward. It was on like a Martian base. And I was like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. And like
I'm
I
in.
bought it straight away on release. And I rarely buy things on release unless it's like an Age of Darkness box. And like I was like, I don't even play AT, but I'm getting it because he's done such a good job with it. So that's a good point. So let's just talk about the Saturnine Dreadnought for a minute because the posing is not, the posing is the same as how all their kind of like Leviathans and Dreadnoughts are posed, which is not particularly dynamic. It looks like this has got like lots of joints that can make it dynamic, so it's going to be cool to see kind of different poses. Hopefully things like standing on rocks and standing on dead word bearers.
Yeah.
But also it's interesting that they followed a design here like the normal, like the Leviathan Dread, which is it's got two different weapons on, whereas what tends to be the case in 2.0 at the moment is you'd have like two storm cannons or two side colonic melter. But it's interesting that this is two separate weapons. So it's going to be interesting from a rules point of view, actually, whether you can take this, like, I don't know, like an autocannon, whatever that is, and then this kind of what looks like a bombard weapon of some kind, whether you can take two of those on like a single chassis, and whether you're going to need to buy a second weapons like frame in order to do that, and whether that second weapons frame is in the box. So that all of it, like those are the questions I've got in my head at the moment. It looks like with the Saturnine Terminators, you're going to be able to kit them out for close combat or kit them out for some kind of range. And then as for the Praetors, at the moment we have no clue, do we, about whether they are kind of like monopose or at least like the weapon options that they come with.
I would guess they're monopose. That's kind of the way they've gone recently, isn't it?
I think that's fair.
So yeah, anybody want to, before we get to what else is included beyond the miniatures, anybody want to make any other observation? I noticed the cool Vexilla on like the Centurion with his like mace, and I thought that was that was pretty cool. That could be a cool bit to have to mix things up.
I would say, because I've spent a while looking at the Saturnine Dreadnought, and initially I wasn't keen on it, and I have kind of started to appreciate it a bit more. I think the thing I don't like, and it's such a small bit, but it's the kind of arm shoulder pad bit on the left as we're looking at it. So his right arm.
Yeah. Just 40k, is it Redemptor Dreadnought?
Yeah, and it really does, doesn't it? It looks like a 40k Dreadnought, and that's the thing. I think if I kind of cover that bit, I'm like, looks all right, actually.
Yeah.
But then I see that and I'm like, 40.
That's interesting, because I think that's the best bit. I tell you what bit I don't like is the helmet on it. I think, like, because to me that looks like a Mark III, the old style.
But it's
Mark
hard
III
to
helmets.
tell, isn't it? With this
really hard. So at the moment, I'm thinking if I just replace that with like a Leviathan helmet, like something that already exists, I think I'd probably prefer that.
For me, the Saturnine Dreadnought is let down by, I don't know if it's the angle or how the miniature's assembled, but he's got a really, really wide stance.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
That makes it look a little bit squat and derpy. I think again, with a bit more dynamism, like walking or kind of like running or striding forwards, I think it could look way, way better. I think 100%. Like, I do completely echo Rob's sentiments and these, that like you should never judge anything until you've got it in the hand. I do think that there is a lot of potential, and they are growing on me enormously, I would say, but that was from quite a low initial bar. But
okay, yeah, cool. Okay, well, John, why don't you take us through? What else is included? And I noticed actually that this person doesn't seem to have opened the box because the plastic seal does not appear to be.
What a fucking clown! Because if they just made a YouTube video going through the rule book, they would have made their $500.
$1 million views, yeah.
And I genuinely, if I'd have been in the States, I'd have bought this, like, absolutely just like that. I'd have picked it up straight away.
100%. But we don't have it before GW comes hunts us with rusty knives. Okay, so we don't.
So what else is included? So it includes Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, Age of Darkness, illegible page, 3rd edition hardback rulebook.
Yes, it's the 3rd edition. It's official.
Yeah. You can get some plastic tactical something and objective markers. Yep. You get the whippy sticks.
Very useful. Yeah.
You get the current templates, which is what they look like. I mean, we're going to assume
they look like it. Yeah.
So, which is really, really nice. Some transfers. You're going to get some Iron Warriors transfers in the box.
Yeah. Did someone say that these had been leaked previously?
The transfers?
That they'd seen a picture of Salamanders and Iron Warriors transfers.
No, they came in the command squad sprue. Like, they already exist. Like, that transfer sheet, I think is the same transfer sheet within the
But
command
with
squad.
Salamanders and Iron Warriors?
Yeah, that's already on
just
the
everyone.
It's
And then
Sons of Horus, Imperial Fist, Salamanders, and Iron Warriors on that
yeah,
transfer.
Ah, interesting.
and then introductory rules and something guide. It says
A construction guide. Is that?
construction guide. There you go. Right, happy
Yeah.
days. So I'm guessing what there's going to be in there. That would be interesting. So I'm going to again remove my lovely baseball cap and put on my tinfoil hat.
Okay, cool.
And I'm going to assume that potentially means that if there are introductory rules guide within that, does that necessarily mean that everything is not automatically invalidated? Are there going to be rules within this for the Saturnine Praetor, Terminator, and Dreadnought outside of other rules sets that may or may not exist and or becoming?
It's a very good point because if you go to the corner of the box, it actually this box says for 2 players, playtime approximately 2 to 3 hours per game, which suggests to me that this is just a game in and of itself. So you could actually just play with these without needing any kind of Liber books because they've got the rules for these models inside this box. That's
That's a clever thing. Yes, well done, Rob. I hadn't appreciated that. That's another way of looking at it that I'd not considered. That's
so
really
it's
big bucks.
interesting. Okay, cool. Well, it's third edition. It's interesting they're using the word third edition as well.
Yes.
I think that is really interesting. Okay, well, let's pop over to the next slide just because it's got some closer pics. And the other thing to say about this is that although the box is called Saturnine, it actually the narrative for this box, I believe, is Isfahan 5, isn't it? This is the battle between on Isfahan 5 and on the black sands of Isfahan, which is how they've kind of themed it as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, let's have a look at.
Does that mean Iron Hands players will actually be able to use Ferris in an actual setting,
like a narrative game?
An actual narrative setting.
I really hope is that soon after we get a campaign book, which is Isfahan 5. Like that would be so dreamy.
And do you know what would be even funnier? If Ferris is really shit in this edition.
No more brutal.
They finally get to use him in a narrative setting, and he's crap.
That's a weapons of goth.
Okay, well, let's take a look at GW's response because they responded. Can
I just say now, looking at that Saturnine Dreadnought there, I don't hate it. Like it's I don't know. I think it's just an angle thing. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just static, isn't it? That's the
hate
thing
that.
about it. When you get it on a rock, pose it with its legs standing on a rock or some dead dudes or something like that, and its torso pointed one way and its weapon hanging down on one side, its weapon pointing another way, it's going to be really dynamic, really awesome. Also, I noticed it's 2 little nipple guns, which look like the disintegrator.
On the Dreadnought,
the Dread. And it'll be interesting to see whether they can swap out in the same way that the Leviathan can.
Because the dudes with the fists, the Saturnine Terminators with the fists, I wonder if they're disintegrator little cannon things they have as well. I think that's the theme with this box.
Things need
Plasma
to be
and disintegrator, yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, let's have a look on the next slide and see GW's response. Now, I haven't put everything here because you guys can go take a look yourselves. But essentially, what they did was they took the leaked pictures and they cropped them. And then they went through kind of like model by model pictures of dreads and things like that, and a kind of a very tongue-in-cheek approach to this, to try and seize, I guess, back some of the initiatives. So this is a good example. So too good to be true. Is this the new box
They
set?
did not
We're
roll
skeptical.
6. They did not roll a 6 using that initiative.
How come the photos are so bad? Photographer at the Bigfoot guy called, he wants his camera back. So they did kind of quite a few tongue-in-cheek things. It's interesting seeing the reaction, I think, within the community, like a couple of days on from that initial like Horus Heresy thing, where a fair few people are being fairly vocal and being like, come on now, like just let's do this properly. Just show us properly. Whether they'll wait for Heresy Thursday, maybe, I'm not sure. But let's talk about predictions. So what's your prediction, John? What do you think the remainder of the week is going to look like for this box, Horus Heresy, Horus Heresy?
First things first, I think Horus Heresy is dead. Like, it is irrelevant now. I think the relevancy of everything of that entire campaign is just dead. And I'll be honest with you, I thought their response to this was just gave me such cringe. It turned my willy from an outie to an innie.
David, yeah. Do you not think they
Like,
could be just buying some time though?
bad.
They might just be buying
Maybe, but
24 hours, 48 hours to deal
I
with it
mean,
in their way tomorrow.
it just. I personally think the whole Horus Heresy thing was quite good fun. Like it was silly, but it was fun, and I actually quite enjoyed it. I found this to be a bit pathetic.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like there needs to come a point where you need to kind of own it, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to follow through on this idea, even though this whole idea now is completely toast. Like
Yeah.
we're done with this now. That website will likely never be visited ever again by anyone, because
No, yeah.
so I feel like what they could have done to actually wrestle the narrative back was be like, right, bam, here it is. Here's the proper picture. It completely kills all of this kind of weird image sharing. It. I feel like this was a misstep.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
And
Lee, what's
SmackDown.
your yeah, okay. Lee, give us your thoughts on this move and then tell us what you think the rest of the week is going to look like.
I think they're gonna flog a dead donkey and just keep doing this heresy
Interesting.
hearsay. I like to think they won't, but yeah, I think they'll just keep going with this. I don't think they had a backup plan, you know.
No.
What do we do in case someone does leak the image
Mm.
that we know is out there? Like, what do we do? Just keep
Yeah.
flogging the dead
It was
donkey.
interesting that they seem to have been caught kind of quite so much of their pants down. Well, I wasn't expecting that necessarily.
I mean, I will say I prefer this from what they did with second edition when we had a picture of
More.
the box like a year before they released it, and
And they
then
just
they
never
just
acknowledged it, did
denied
they?
any.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Yeah.
it became a bit weird, didn't it? It was like, look, we all know, guys, we've seen it. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we know. Oh, guess what's coming? Well, we
We
know.
know, we've already seen it. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. So, John, what do you think the rest of the week is going to look like from your perspective?
I am hopeful. Do you know what? Actually, I would kind of like to see nothing happen tomorrow at all. Tomorrow being Wednesday, so recording this on Tuesday evening. So tomorrow being Wednesday, I would like to actually see nothing, and I would like
Mm.
people within the organisation to just have a proper measured chat, and then I would hope that we might see not necessarily everything, but give us something on Heresy Thursday. Give us an acknowledgement. Give us something. Like, the cat's out of the bag now. Their well laid plans are in ruins. So I think just let it fester tomorrow. Let people continue with the wild speculation, and let actually kind of things die down a little bit, because there's so
Mhm.
much hype and so much kind of hyperbole at the moment.
Mhm.
And then, like, give us something concrete on Thursday. That would be, because I think that would show a lot of kind of goodwill.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
don't think it'll
Mhm.
happen, but it's what I hope
No.
it will happen.
Yeah.
What about you?
Interesting. So I think I suspect you're probably right. I think they've probably done this to buy time and to feel like they've seized back some of the initiative and take the piss out of the person who shared it. I think it as you I take your points that actually it was a pretty classless move. I think is like it wasn't slick, but I think that it did do some kind of damage mitigation. They rolled a 5 up. But I suspect you're right. They're probably just doing this to buy themselves a little bit of breathing room, and I suspect we won't see anything tomorrow. Just let everything just relax. I think the problem you've got is um, if they leave things too long, and then the rule book gets leaked or further leaks happen, like entire sprue pictures gets released, again they're on that back foot. So I think what they probably at this point do is just go, we're just going to cut our losses and we're just going to do a preview show and we're just going to do it on Thursday. Like we're preparing the script now. We'll prepare the script on Wednesday, and everything that we were planning to release in 2 weeks time, let's just go hell for leather and just go for it. Because I think that actually they've lost the initiative here. And they can probably seize it back by doing it this week, and just go and just say it's like they probably won't acknowledge the leak really beyond this, but just give us a rough time frame of when it's going to be it will be launched late summer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best way to recover the situation. Whether they'll do that, I don't know. They don't. I feel like they don't have a tendency to do that. It's always on their own kind of own
No,
terms.
they don't tend to.
But I think probably if I was a marketing manager, that's probably the way that I'd go about trying to salvage the situation. But I think whatever happens, it's really exciting. Like and I think the big thing that I would say is that we've got really for Space Marines, we've got two releases, a Command Squad and a Kratos, and really that's about it.
Yeah.
And this is like 4 or 5 brand new, completely new units in one box, and that is just awesome. Completely new things to paint, completely new things to build, new rule set. I mean, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped.
Good. So you should.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the rules for these guys. Definitely, that is. It will be interesting to see how they do these. Yeah, be good. But
Cool,
we
cool,
shall
cool.
see. We'll see what
Okay.
happens Thursday, won't we? But I
Yeah,
am
absolutely.
holding my breath.
Well,
To
there's lots
be
of fodder
honest.
for the commenters. So I guess let us know kind of what you expect to happen now. What the fallout's going to be over the next few days. What are your thoughts on kind of the box and what's been going on? And yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
awesome.
one thing I would say is I had a quick look on the YouTubes, and there are about 1 billion videos of people talking about this leak, of which we are jumping on the bandwagon. So whether you look at what they've done as being successful or not, people are certainly talking about it.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah,
may
I
not be the
suppose. Yeah,
slickest, best way to show a new product,
yeah.
but people are certainly talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's a very 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 valid point. My final thought, closing thought, just and perhaps people can comment down below, is that there are a lot of shooting weapons in this box, and not a lot of close combat.
yeah.
So whether that gives us a sign of things to come for third edition, we shall see. But there seems to be a lot of shooting stuff and not really that much punching stuff.
Yeah, can I right, okay, so we're gonna do some news, breaking news on the fly.
Oh yes, go for it.
If you now visit the Horus Hearsay page,
Oh,
Oh
hello.
right, okay,
it
go
comes
go
up
for it.
with an error 404 or record
Ah!
from the language. Sorry, the page I'm looking
Go
for
on.
this.
Take it down! Take it
Ex
down!
expunged. Yeah, okay. So
Oh,
basically,
no.
I mean, you can infer from that they've just bought themselves 24 hours to deal with this situation,
yeah,
and then they've done that. They've done that post, and then tomorrow or Thursday we're going to see something. So,
yeah.
yeah. Oh man, it's gone. Oh,
Oh,
that's
no, mine's here.
alas. Oh right. Oh,
I've got it.
interesting.
I've got it. I've got it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Have I? Yeah, it's up here.
Oh, okay. It was John's internet clearly.
yeah.
Something's going on. Anyway, okay. Well,
Very good.
let's go to the next slide, and let's
Yeah.
see. Let's finish up. So thanks ever so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Like if you managed to find your way here and not watch anybody else's leak videos, then we really appreciate it. If you want to be part of the conversation over the coming days, then we can highly recommend joining our Heresy Hammer WhatsApp community. You'll find the link in our Instagram.
Pop in the
link.
show notes as well, Rob.
Perfect. And then, as always, if you've got any questions, queries, etc., you can send us an email on heresyhammer30co@gmail.com. And then don't forget, if you've got here and not already subscribed, please make sure you do. We passed 5,000 subscribers today, which was really, really exciting.
Yeah.
And as ever, don't forget to like, comment, and share. But it will be a goodbye from me. It's a goodbye from Lee.
Bye-bye.
And a goodbye from John.
Bye.
And we shall see you, I'm sure, in the next couple of days for our next emergency podcast. Take care, guys, and
Yeah.
see you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.